when clients come to me and they tell me that they're experiencing hot and cold behaviour, here's what I run them through, and it's going to help you too. The first question I ask is, what does it say about your identity that you're tolerating that right now? Because a lot of the time, they're still interacting with the hot and cold behaviour. They're still participating in it. What does that say about your identity right now? What does it say about your concept of self right now? Right? That's the first thing you want to ask. What's it saying about me? My views on myself. I'll give you some clues. One, you're tolerating it because you've put this person on a pedestal. You've pedestalized them. Two, you're doing it out of fear. You're tolerating it out of fear of abandonment, rejection, there not being anyone else. So you're clinging on to this experience, even though it's not what you truly want, right? So it's telling you an awful lot about yourself. You have to have the accountability and self-awareness to observe it. Observe it, right? Because a lot of the time, we're not even aware that we're actually participating in something we don't even want to experience. We're tolerating it out of hope, for a breadcrumb, for a text message, for that validation. It always comes back to validation. That's what the goddess identity is about, not needing proof outside of you. So it's not just about this though, because this is the thing. The dating coaches will say, move on, find somebody else. And I get why they're saying that, but if you still have the same identity going into another dating experience, then you will still see the same shit on repeat. On repeat. And I'll tell you why that is. It's because of your identity and your inner conversations. So let me give you an example of what you're probably doing right now, which is actually causing and being reflected outside of you. Let's say you're dating someone. You get a text, and then in your inner conversations are like, yes, I'm chosen. Yes, you go about your day, you enjoy your coffee, you can relax, you're present, you're not overthinking. You have that validation from outside of you, and you decide, I'm chosen, I'm loved, he wants me, right? But as soon as you don't get that validation, as soon as there's a longer text response, as soon as his messages don't seem as enthusiastic, which is just a perception in itself, right? As soon as you see that, you go back to doubting yourself. Does he like me? Does he want me? And you decide in that moment, I'm not chosen anymore. I'm not wanted anymore. I'm not loved anymore. I'm not good enough anymore. Probably you're doing it subconsciously, but I'm making you aware of it now. So because your identity is hot and cold and dependent on an outside circumstance, so 1 minute you're chosen, the next minute you're not. 1 minute you're prioritized, the next minute you're not. You will see chaos reflected outside of you because you haven't stood in one identity. You haven't remained in an identity. You are flip-flopping around because you haven't made a decision. It always comes back to a decision about who the fuck you are. Regardless of your past, regardless of anything that you have experienced in the past, you can decide now a new identity. So the problem is that you're flip-flopping around and you're only chosen when you get validation. So what do I always say about that? Well, if you're only chosen when you get validation, when you don't get it, you're not chosen, and that means that you are a slave to the circumstances and a slave to that person, and that person controls you. And that's the end of it, right? That person is controlling your identity. That circumstance, that text message or lack of it is controlling you and your identity. So this is why, because you're hot and cold within, you will only ever experience that on the outside. Now, let me give you an example of a woman who's made a decision. I am chosen. And you make this decision bearing in mind that regardless if I have proof or not, I am making this decision that I am chosen, I'm spoiled in attention, love, regardless if I see it or not. This is my new identity. So let me explain how the inner conversations work with this woman and why she doesn't experience hot and cold. She gets a text message. Great, that's normal. Of course. Because I'm chosen, I'm loved, adored, I'm great, I'm one of one, and I expect the best. This is another thing. Expecting the best instead of expecting the worst. It's an identity. Expecting the best. So, okay, yeah, fine. I get a text message, great. Normal, normal, normal. It's not like this big celebration, like, fuck yes, let's get the champagne out because I've got a text message. What does that say about you? Right? It's not normal for you. It's out of character. It's you want to normalize it. So this woman is saying to herself, yeah, that's normal. Right? Normal as breathing. Then maybe he does take longer to respond. But she's not observing that as he's pulling away. She's not observing that as, well, now I'm not chosen. To be honest, she's probably out living a life that she didn't even realise it. And she's going to give it a good meaning. So this is what I'm talking about, inner conversations. Her inner conversation is, yeah, he's probably busy. He has priorities. That's okay. That's not a threat. He will come back to me. It's natural to miss my presence. Because I'm chosen. I'm loved. I am this. I'm this identity. That's who I am. I always get what I want. Right? So her identity is not dependent on a circumstance. She's made that decision. Her identity is not dependent on whether she gets a text message or not, whether a text message takes a long time to respond or not, whether his message is enthusiastic or not. She stands firm in her decision. This is why it's reality takes her seriously, and that decision is reflected back to her, and she gets clarity. She gets what she wants. Because she's expecting the best. She assumes he wants to make her happy. Why would she assume he doesn't? Why would she assume he doesn't want? Why would she assume he doesn't want her? Why would she assume that he's going to leave her? It's about your identity, right? This is an identity game. And the tips and tricks piss me off in terms of the dating world because they don't address the underlying identity. I'll do another video on that because I don't want to babble on. But the point I'm making is hot and cold is a reflection of your identity. And I know for an absolute fact that when clients come to me and say I'm experiencing, he's being hot and cold, I'm going to go, well, what's going on in your mind? Your mind is hot and cold. Your mind is chaotic. You are being controlled by an outside circumstance and the circumstance owns you instead of you owning your own identity and yourself. And if you're still participating in it, then that also tells me that you don't take yourself seriously. It's a reflection of who you are. Relationships are a reflection of you. The certainty you have within yourself. The way you describe yourself. The way you describe the relationship or describe the man. Okay? Inner conversations remain the same regardless of what you say. You stand on business. You stand firm. This is it. So, before the video ends, I want you to observe your inner conversations if you are experiencing this. And I know you're going to get back to me and be like, oh my God, I've just had a light bulb moment. Because out there is reflective of what's going on in here. Okay? Have the best day. I know you will.